Hi, welcome along to AFTV. We are here for the Starting 11 show today. Of course, big game tonight, unless you're Turkish, of course. Big game. Even he said it was a big game a while ago, right? It's Arsenal versus Monaco in the Champions League. Very important that Arsenal get a win tonight to progress in this competition. Joining me to discuss it, we've got lead judges, we've got Turkish, and we've got Julian. Let me start with you, Turkish, because I know that after you was a bit disillusioned after Sunday's game, and you were saying that you didn't even care about this game and stuff like that. But this is a very important game tonight for us to try and get through in these Champions League group stages, this new format.
Yeah.
After last night's games, we're in 10th place. We all know that the top 8, those are the teams that go through automatically. You don't want to get to a situation when you get to February where you're involved in a playoff, which would be 2 games. And not only that, when you look at that table, and I was looking at it earlier on, say Arsenal didn't finish,
it's tight,
in that top 8, some of the teams that you could possibly face, Real Madrid, I'm not sure, could you play another English team? Man City, Juventus,
sure.
PSG. PSG, you don't want to be coming up against those teams in a 2-legged fight to get through to the next stage.
Yeah, listen, it's not that I don't care about this. We have to win this. It's more, I don't feel up, but I didn't feel up for it. Now the game's an hour away or so, I feel more up for it. But you can excuse me for feeling like our season's it's definitely not going the way we all have expected it to go in the Premier League, that's for sure. This might be a welcome change tonight. Maybe it's refreshing, maybe we pull out a performance and maybe, we go into the weekend with some, renewed energy. But dropping points again, and on weekend when we could have taken advantage, we could be 4 points behind Liverpool right now. We're not, because we're not doing what we should be doing. So that's still lingering. I was a bit disillusioned, I still am. But it's Monaco next, and when you look at the table and you look at how tight it is, we want to be in that top 8, ideally. And to be in that top 8, I think we have to win today. I think we have to win the next home game as well and see where we are at, because I think we're on 10 points now.
10 points, same as Monaco, close. By the way. Monaco exactly on the same amount of points as well. We're in 12th, they're in 13th.
Yeah, it's close. So I think any drop points tonight, I think that'll probably push us out of the top 8.
Probably, yeah.
Well, yeah, it leaves
us. Well, we're out of the top 8 already.
It leaves us out of it because of last night's fixture, sorry.
But we can get back into the top 8 possibly with a win tonight, yeah.
Without a win, we stay out of it. And then we've got 2 games left where they've become must-wins, whereas, we're at Emirates tonight. It's time to, give the fans something to... Look how we returned from international break. Those 3 games were our best 3 games of the season. And they've been followed up with, all right, a win against Man United, set-piece FC, love it when we win. But when we're drawing to Fulham and we're only conjuring set-piece chances, we need to be doing better than that in phase 5 or whatever we call this year's season.
We did lose to Fulham last year, let me just remind you. We did,
but listen, at the end of the day, we lost to Newcastle last year, we lost to Newcastle this year, so there's other games that we haven't managed to turn around. So even though we've got a point out of this one, at this stage, we needed to have got 3 out of it.
Yeah.
So, and we didn't do that. But listen,
Champions League,
pardon my, the tone I'm setting so early on stuff. People know me though. They know, more glass half full when it comes to
you was cussing and saying, why are we not, when we're going to get back in the Champions League? We're back in it now.
Yeah,
So look forward to it then.
I am. Look, what do you mean? I'm here. I'm happy.
You're not happy, you know what I mean? I know you.
Yeah, I'm not happy. Yeah, you're right. I'm not happy. I got carried away there. I'm not happy. I'm not happy like that.
You're happy relatively to how you are.
Relatively now. I'm more up for it than I was 24 hours ago. But still, Rob, I know we're here to talk about the next game, but Arsenal's season is slowly but surely, it's not going the way we want it to go, and there's going to be difficult conversations coming up if we continue to F about whatever competition it's in.
It's not that bad.
It is.
It's not.
It's not good, Julian. Come on.
It absolutely could be better, but then. You look back from the international break, as you said, look at the positives. The performance has been excellent. Even the performance at Fulham, we didn't get the result we necessarily wanted, but the performance wasn't a bad performance. It wasn't like last season. Last season's performance was awful.
If you're going on last season's performance, there's much better than that. But that wasn't a good performance Sunday. Come on.
It wasn't a terrible performance either. We had much the better of the game. You could argue that we were slightly unlucky not to win the game. We didn't do enough to absolutely hammer them, that's for sure. But they are a good team. They were no mugs for them.
They lost to Wolves 4-1 on their lot, which someone reminded me afterwards. They lost to Wolves.
Yeah,
4-1.
but there was a reason for that.
Yeah,
and
Wolves scored 4 goals.
Yeah, and they only scored one. I get that if you look at the basics. But the reason for that, and Fulham should be in a lot higher position, but for their finishing, unfortunately for us, they got one good chance and the guy finished it. Clinical finish.
And also, they haven't played like that.
No, they haven't.
All
I
season,
mean, if you look at that Wolves game, the same player that scored that great goal missed from inside the 6-yard box. You know, I've not seen a miss like that since Ronnie Rosenthal.
Ronnie
Rosenthal.
I mean, where are you at? This is a big game tonight. Very important game tonight.
I am. I don't really.
You're in the miserable corner.
I am in the miserable corner. I am. I still haven't got over Sunday. I think Sunday, considering what was going on with Liverpool not playing, I'm so disappointed with the performance. So disappointed with the performance. You know, we had to go there and, you know, set a marker off. You know what I mean? City had the opportunity to do it against Palace and failed, and then everybody's turning around and going, "Oh, City ain't this and City ain't that." Well, we had exactly the same opportunity, and I thought we failed on Sunday. We really did fail, like, you know. And then, you know, you see Chelsea, who are another rival, they go and do what we should have done in their game. They went and won it by hook or by crook. They found a way, and we didn't find a way. And I have to say, I don't agree with Julian about we didn't play well. They allowed us to have as much play as they wanted in front of them. We didn't have the goal to break them down. How many saves did Leno have to make in that game?
Yeah, he didn't make that many.
Yeah, and so, you know, something's not quite...
Their defending was top drawer, the way they organised themselves, but it is easier to defend than it is attack. And that team didn't go out to win the game.
But at the end of the day, Julian, you're in a position, you've got to break down these teams. And when you've got the players that we've got, you know, we're relying on a set piece, isn't it? And then I'm a big supporter of Mikel, like, but I can't be having this. Oh, we've come out and dominated the game. You know what I mean? Don't kid. You know, like, we're not.
We
all
did
stupid.
dominate the game.
Yeah, because they allowed that to happen. You know what I mean? Like, don't kid yourself. You know what I mean? That was their game plan. You know what I mean? I'd rather us go like, yeah, we dominated the game, but look, we had 10, 15 shots and the goalkeepers made saves after save. It didn't go like that. What he should have come out and said, yeah, we dominated the game, didn't take our chances, move on. Don't try and make us believe that was a good performance.
I don't think he was. I didn't hear him in his stage say it was a good performance.
I think he did.
He did.
He
A good performance.
In his press conference, he was saying, "I can't believe that." You know, I'm paraphrasing what he said. "I can't believe we lost that game."
He hasn't seen no one play like that against Fulham.
Yeah, it was basically.
But Wolves beat them 4-1. Aston Villa
He didn't come out with the exact words, but that's what he was saying.
Quotes, ever since he said these are the best owners he's seen, some of his quotes are looking really funny in the light. But
he hasn't seen that many owners.
Well, he's seen 2, and the other ones have been winning league title after league title. So do you think he was being genuine with that?
There could be a big asterisk against that at some point.
Always could be, should be, always this and that. It's never...
Well, listen, I'm trying to... By the way, on my laptop at the moment, I'm just having problems getting the comments up, so I will jump into those...
That's what you want to do. You want to get an expert on it.
I will jump into those comments as soon as I get those up, but this is a game that we have to win tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, listen, is it?
Yeah,
I think it is.
I don't, you know what I mean?
Why not?
Well, because to get top 8? Oh yeah, that's great, isn't it?
I get that.
That's what you're saying. You're saying is it a must win to get top 8? We'll say that then. It's a must win to get top 8. Ain't a must win.
I said it's a very important.
It's a must win on Sunday. I'll tell you what, I prefer to have won Sunday and
I hear you on that, but
that's
this
what I'm
game,
saying.
right? Deal with the game that's in front of you now. Stop moaning and whining about Sunday. It's gone. Let me give you a bit of therapy. That game is gone. Yeah, get out your head.
Yeah, well,
we got a game tonight. We got a game tonight. Let's try and win that.
Yeah,
you're going to moan and whinge about Sunday for the rest of the video.
I get this every week, so...
Man.
I think one of the reasons maybe is because I'm sitting next to Turkish. He's rubbing off. But what I'm saying is, right, sometimes you are... I'm down. They need to go out. They need to come out today and get me back on side and get me feeling it like...
And perform.
Perform, yeah.
Entertain.
Yeah, but you're being like, come on,
chances.
man. Let's get a bit, you know
Have
what I mean?
some
Get into the...
Well, I'm not the only one, Rob.
You got to do your
Go
part.
on ticket exchange today. There's a load of tickets and all that. We're not. It's just not me and Turkish that are doom and gloom. You know what I mean? Like,
listen, I was doom and gloom after the game as well, but I'm saying that this game is an important game tonight, right? You do not want to go into... You guys are dealing in the present. I'm looking at February, do you want to have an additional 2 games to play? Because that's what it will be, right?
I don't
And get
care.
in a playoff game, which could
Do
be
you care?
against
I don't care. I'll get more money's worth on my season ticket. I don't care.
in a playoff game against Real Madrid, or in a playoff game against Juve, or in a playoff game against PSG.
And ideally, you don't.
Is that
want
what you
that.
want?
No, ideally, you don't want that. But what I know what you're saying. It's nothing is decided in the Champions League in November, in December.
No,
it's decided come February, March, and we don't want to be in that playoff place. But at the same time, if we are in it, you can look on the bright side and say European trip. Get your money's worth as a season ticket holder, another game to test Arteta in Europe and so on. But we've just dropped points in a competition where we've already found out ourselves that dropping points in November, December can cost you in May.
Yeah.
So we're in a competition now. If you just look at in isolation, for me, it is a must-win game in isolation because you don't want that playoff. You don't want those extra, light as it is, let alone add 2 games. So yes, I did. But the frustration of dropping points in a competition where it does matter now, and we know it matters now, it still rolls onto a competition that the results now don't necessarily matter come May.
Yeah.
It's what you do in February, March. So it's hard to shake it off. What the first 10, 20 minutes will do, if we come out stale, stiff, easy to defend against, it's a hangover for us as well from Fulham. If we come out 10, 20 minutes creating chances, couple saves, it's still 0-0, but we deserve to be 1-0 up. We would have forgotten about Fulham in a sense because that's what football does.
Yeah, it's fickle.
And then you go into Everton, you think about Fulham again, but at the end of the day, it's still that I can't shake off that we're messing about in the main competition for me, and that's the Premier League.
I mean, I'm very much into value for money, but for me, the best value for money I can get out of my season ticket is if Arsenal win something. But I would disagree with some of the things you said. This isn't a must-win game, but what this can do, if we win this, we've got 2 of the easier. I don't want to completely disrespect the other 2 teams we've got, but on paper they are 2 of the weakest teams that we're going to play. So we should be able to not only win those games, but we could rest players as well. And what I've seen happening is, we had the doctor in the other week. We were chatting to behind the cameras, and he was saying something that was very obvious. That the more these players have to play, the more prone they are to injury. So if you take some games out, you give them rest, and that's why we're getting these injuries, because the players are getting injured and more players are getting injured because you're having to keep playing the games.
But I'm tired of this shit, man.
But that's the reality of the human body.
No.
More stress.
Stop all that, man. In December, we're talking about tiredness.
Exactly, I agree with Turkish.
Come on, man.
I'm talking about injuries, actual injuries.
Did we do this 20 years ago when there was no sports science, there was no nutrition, they was down the pub? We wasn't talking about tiredness in November, December. Now they get every single thing they need nutritionally, everything they need gym-wise, health-wise. They get more money than they used to. Here's more excuses as well. You're tired November. If you're tired November, December, you're not good enough to play at the highest level. Full stop. So tell me who you think is tired so we can find out who's not good enough.
It's not tired, it's
Who
injuries.
is tired,
But if you,
I'm with Turkish on this one.
but if you
about
look-
no
if you
one
look-
should be tired now.
I'm saying actual injuries and stress. And if you look,
Injuries is
injuries. And if you look, I was around 20. I was around 20.
Well, why doesn't he say, okay, injuries?
I did say injuries.
Okay, wait, we was blessed with injuries last year. So the likelihood that injuries would cost us this year was higher. Why didn't we cover it? When it comes to talk about the ownership, Julian, and talk about their deficiencies, not just last summer, but 20 years,
we've actually have
you
covered it.
failed to bring that up. You can use injuries as an excuse now, yes. But then when we talk about the reason injuries have impacted us so much, you don't want to highlight the real reason of why.
But the injuries we've got in defence, and we actually went for players in defence, and lucky that we did.
Can I make a theory? Because me and Russ were talking about this today on the train. Is it coincidence or is it fact that all of our fullbacks keep getting injured?
It's not coincidence.
Right.
It's the position.
Look at it like, is it the way that they're being asked to play our fullbacks?
I would think that.
It is causing us problems from an injury front. Can you ever look at it like Tommy Asu's injured, Ben White's injured?
Every fullback. And you get more injuries, and you get more injuries in that position.
No, but back in the day, fullbacks.
Well, central defence line.
They didn't like that.
Saliba and Gabriel play most games, Robbie. If you have a look at it, Saliba and Gabriel plays most games, but it's the fullbacks that keep
Yeah, but
breaking
again, they
down.
do get for a lot of work, fullbacks, don't they? And
That's what I'm saying.
That's why they're more
But,
prone
yeah,
to...
Gabriel, he's injured at the moment as well. I mean,
But he's had a pretty good record up to
yeah.
now.
Let me just. I've actually got the super chats now. So let me just go through some of them. Alex Smith says, "Big up the Baldies in the house." I'm at the game, block 111. I say 3-0 to the Arsenal, and he said I'm 10 quid down. Kyle says a crossbar challenge, P&O cruise winner 1998.
It was Raw Caribbean. It was
Rodriguez says big up
2022.
Lee, Turkish Robbie, and deluded Julian. That's a bit harsh. Baldor says some creators asked why Lewis wasn't playing. He was injured.
Yeah, that's
we
right.
need to send our medical team to Dubai for 2 weeks, work for our players in 23-24. And Lee Jacobs says, gents, I told James before the Fulham game that his arrogance, I think he's on about Arteta, makes him disrupt our team's shape. If we don't win something this season, he can only blame himself. We have no right to talk about the title at the moment. Let's get into the Champions League, top 8 at least. And Jamie says, excuses, Julian. We are waiting on the team tonight. The big rumours going around is that Lewis Skelly is going to be starting the game. So actually, I think we've got team news now, have we? Let me just see. Yes, I've got the lineup here. This is the lineup for the game tonight. In goal, David Raya. Partey looks like he's going to be in at right back again. Saliba, Kivior, and Lewis Skelly. So those injuries are still there. Declan Rice, Marino, and Odegaard. And up front, it's Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus. Those are the three that start. Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus. On the bench, Neto, Setford, Timber, Tierney's on the bench, Robinson, Heaven, Monlius, I'm not even sure who that is. That's a new player to me. Jorginho, Wanieri, Trossard, Sterling, and Kai Havertz. So no Gabriel, no Calafiori, no right back, and no Timber. Not even Timber's on the bench. Yeah, sorry, no Timber in the starting lineup. That's quite a much changed team. Big game for Lewis Skelly, and
I said that in my groups yesterday, like when those two weren't training. I said, well, maybe they're doing away from training. No, they're out. And there's Thomas Partey and Timber in the squad. Sometimes you don't have to train. Like this moment in time, you're playing, resting, playing. The training's not as important as getting the rest and recovery.
Yeah,
like,
especially if it's an open training session. He doesn't want them to know the team.
Are you happy with that team, people?
No.
I mean, listen,
It's
obviously there's injuries.
He finds himself in.
I mean, I did a show yesterday and I was talking about how Arsenal at the moment, I think, has had the third most injuries in the Premier League this season. And the amount of days they've lost their injuries. I mean, injuries are really besetting Arsenal
Josh
a lot
Nichols
now,
is
isn't
injured
it?
as well.
Yeah, he's got a cut foot or something.
So he's out as well.
Yeah,
So
lots of injuries.
So he's another fullback.
It's not funny, but it's not defence that is costing us recently. Really, it's the attack. And all of our and we are unfortunate defensively because look how much we've got to chop and change it. But it's the attack that's letting us down. And in the attack, since Odegaard's been back and Odegaard was the only one out, there's more question marks there. In defence, we've covered ourselves well. Well done, Kroenke and whoever else decided to buy the 8th centre back. This summer, fullback, whatever you call them. But it's the attack that's letting us down. We want to see fluid football, exciting. Defensively, we've coped pretty well with.
Are we going a bit too over the top on that? Because we scored 3 goals
exactly.
against Nottingham Forest. We scored 5 goals against Sporting. We scored 5 goals against West Ham. 2 against Manchester United. And we scored. All right, we only scored 1 the other day. But it's not like we've had like 3 0-0s in a row.
I don't agree with that. I think our defence is letting us down this season because we're not getting enough clean sheets. You have a look at teams that won titles. You know what it's like to win titles and watch it and all that. Clean sheets. And even against, we totally dominated the game against West Ham. They had 2 minutes of football against us in that first half and scored 2 goals. Fulham had 1 chance. One attack against us and they scored. You have to look back at that goal. It's awful. Awful defending from. If you have a left back doing a left back's job, he cuts it out straight away. But Timber's gone on the missing list, And Kivior, I don't know what he's doing. And I do think even the Chelsea goal, when you look back at the Chelsea goal, that could have been prevented. I know all goals can be prevented, but I feel that defensively this season, and look, people will argue, and I get that, and I'm not making excuses that when you keep chopping and changing the defence, it doesn't help. But I do think that we've got...
You are right, but then they're the ones scoring as well, Gabriel,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who scores, does it? It's still a goal.
No, I know, but come on, step up, highest paid player.
Well, he can't today, he's not playing.
Step up one of you left wingers that seems upset every time.
Do you know what amazes me, though? Can I just ask, just to say this?
Trossard has scored, yeah.
I'm watching the game.
Saka's scored, watching the game. Martinelli scored, Havertz has scored.
I'm watching that game Sunday, right? Can you honestly tell me what Jesus has done in that game there to say, do you know what, you start on Wednesday?
Nothing. He was awful when he came on.
He was absolutely horrendous. I'm not having a go. I like Jesus. I don't think he's never been
him horrendous. That is kind of having a go at you.
But no, in that game, he was Julian. You know what I mean?
So you are having a go, which might be fair.
So I'm just on a one thing that what is it for? I don't know, to get into this team. What have you got to do? You got to go around and wash his car or something like that? Or what has he done to get into his cars? Yeah, he invited him round for dinner.
I think it's the same problem on the left wing and striker. Whoever starts gives you the impression, it makes you feel like the other person should start next game because no one is taking it for themselves.
Yeah, so like Havertz, he's going to play Saturday.
In the preview, I said I wouldn't be surprised if Jesus starts
because he's rotating.
Because Havertz ain't playing good enough either. That's not me saying Jesus is playing good enough. He's been terrible he isn't good enough. Full stop. But like Trossard and Martinelli on the left, you play them 1 week or play them a couple of games, it's not good enough, you change it up. That's what it looks like it's been since international break with Havertz as well. Jesus has started a game here as well, second one since international. So for me, none of them four have yet to take the position and make it their own.
The other side of it is, look, you either get dropped or you get rotated. Now, to me, he's looking at things that we've got 2 games every week now, all through January as well. And he probably thinks that Wednesday, we're playing Saturday, aren't we? Yeah. Is that he's simply rotating. Now, he probably thinks that the Monaco game is going to be an easier game than the Everton game and also less important. You said the words must win. For me, it's really important that we win because it gives us that breathing space. But the stats are, you get 16 points, you're something like 96% chance of getting in that top 8. So,
you think that's still the case?
Yeah, that's still pretty much the case. 16 points pretty much gets us there. So we need 2 wins. It's not guaranteed.
We're at home.
It's not
we're at home in this game.
We should
win this game.
Yes, and then you have a breathing space.
My thing is, all right, if that's the case, win this game, win the next game, then you can chill out even for that Girona game.
Yeah, I think you can chill out more for the...
you don't want to be going into that Girona game, must-win game away. Because you saw last night, you know what I mean? I thought... Liverpool, a little bit of dodgy penalty to get the victory at Girona, so it's not a given.
This is the last one of the year, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the next 2 are January, right? And then FA Cup's January. If we get through Palace League Cup first and second legs in January.
Lots of games.
So really,
lots of games looming.
Win the next 2 home games, you're through.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't want to leave it down to that last game because anything can happen in game football. It's not must win, but it is really important for a number of reasons why you need to win tonight.
I think must win as well because of what the guys have been, displaying, which is, how a lot of fans are feeling. They're a bit disillusioned after what happened on Sunday.
It gives you a
go out there, get a good win tonight, like Turkey said earlier. Get people back on side. Get the doubters back on side. A good win out there that puts us in a great position to go through to the next round. I do feel it is a bit of a must win. I think if we go out there tonight, and listen, Monaco are no mugs. You can see they're on the same amount of points as us. But I think if we go out there tonight and put in a poor performance, the doubts are going to be there again. Go out there, put in a great performance. Then all of a sudden people are thinking, all right, we're back on track. A little bit of a blip against Fulham. Let's. But I think this is a very, very important game tonight. I wanted to ask you guys, Lewis Skelly looks like he'll be playing at left back. Not Tierney. You surprised by that? I mean, in his press conference, he was talking up Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney's available. He's an experienced player. I know he hasn't played since July, when he played for Scotland and he came off injured.
June, I think.
In the Euros. Would you have gone with Tierney instead of a Lewis Skelly?
No, I like Lewis. I think he's a very good prospect, and every time I've seen him at left back, he's never really let me down. And I was surprised that he didn't start on the weekend. You're saying he was injured, or people are saying he was injured as well, apparently. But he's come on against City, he's come on against Liverpool in that position ahead of Zinchenko. So I look at him as one of our
player injured.
Yeah, I look at him as one of our free left backs. You know, we're talking about Calafiori. I've seen Timber there, and I think Lewis Skelly's another one. Zinchenko's obviously plays there, but I think Lewis Skelly has shown enough for me to be comfortable. He's a box-to-box midfielder, but our left back, they're box-to-box midfielders. That's what Arteta wants. So he suits the role. And I'm happy. I'm actually happy to see him. That's one of the exciting parts of tonight for me.
What about you, Tierney or Lewis Skelly?
Listen, Tierney's not got a future at Arsenal. Skelly has.
He might do. He might do if he comes in.
If he had, he'd have played him on Sunday, and he'd have played him tonight.
And even if he doesn't have a big future, if you're looking to move him on, you've got to play him, innit?
Well, there's the opposite argument that if he is getting moved on in January, the last thing you want with a player of that injury record is to play him. He gets injured, you can't move him on. The other thing, you said that Arteta said good things about him, but that was only half of what he said. What he then went on to say was that there's some players that he doesn't want to take them out their comfort zone, that he's not going to ask players to play in a way that they're not capable of playing.
Left back,
but there's different ways of playing left back. And what he's basically saying is that he doesn't believe Tierney can play that system. And what he said was, when the time's right, I'll change my system.
But then he could easily use, if he's got Thomas Partey playing at the right back, if you're on about the inverting, he could invert and Tierney drop back in on that side to have the free centre backs.
If you read between the lines, what Arteta's saying is he doesn't trust him to play a system. He doesn't think he's capable of playing a system.
I'm not sure if he's fully saying that. I mean,
that's what I read it to be.
He talked him up a lot in that. He said about how he's, he can be relied upon. He spoke big things about
because
it.
He's not playing him.
Right? So, I was thinking he might. I would have liked to have seen, as much as I like Lewis Skelly, I would have liked to have seen Tierney in there today just to see where he's at. Because I think with the amount of injuries we've got, and we've been having defensive problems, Kieran Tierney's a good defender.
Yeah.
First week in January, he'll be gone.
Yeah, but I think we'll see him next Wednesday. That's the game we'll see him.
Let me get some more super chats here. Vavav says, our fullbacks are part of our attack. Injuries affect it. Lee Jacobs says, Robbie, when we scored all the goals, who was playing at number 6, enabling Odegaard to create? Why he keeps playing Partey at right back is beyond me. Yes, we need a striker, but start with the midfield shape. Well, listen, he's playing at right back because basically he's resting Timber and there's no other right back.
Playing at right back today, but I had a problem with him on Sunday because he had options.
Yeah.
I don't think I think you can't. This is the thing with the likes of Zinchenko, the likes of with
Timber?
No, Tommy Asu not playing. We're having to play Timber week in, week out after coming back from a long-term injury. He's had to leave him out today because he don't want to. Yeah. It's not about him being rested.
He can't take the risk.
Yeah, he can't take. He's got. His body's not up to it. The standard of playing week in, week out. Yeah, he's got to be built into it. But because these players are not available, now we're having to put Thomas Partey there.
Yeah. Naz. Well, that's what happens when you've got loads of injuries, isn't it? It's a consequence.
He's had these. I'm not being all the way. How many? Tommy Asu and Zinchenko have been injured since the summer before a transfer window.
But he didn't know they were going to be long term.
Wow!
Come on,
came back
you can't
Tommy
predict.
Asu for like 20 minutes, didn't he?
6 minutes he lasted.
6?
You know what I mean?
Some other super chats here. Nathan says Arsenal will win 5-0. That'd be nice. He-Man says a striker in January is unlikely. However, get Cunha. He would be a phenomenal number 8. Fast, strong, good passer and can score. Let's open up this left side. Michael Harper says our right side is stronger than our left. Is it time for an upgrade on Martinelli? Seems to be lacking. And Trossard isn't that guy. Too reliant on Odegaard and Saka. Would you agree with that, Turkish? You were sort of intimating that earlier on.
Yeah. Martinelli, the way he's going, he's going to have to be replaced in the summer.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Martinez. I will say this, that we looked a lot more dangerous when he came on. But he's got to start performing a little bit better than what he is. We joked about it, Paul from Australia joked about it, 8 crosses he put in. were all poor. The one that he was offside and he put in on.
It was an excellent ball. I think people. He's been used as a bit of a whipping boy. It's like everyone's
He should have stayed onside for that.
Yeah, and people are criticising him for being offside. And yeah, you know, in a perfect world, he should have been onside. The margins were so close, but the ball he put in. I mean, Saka was
hold on. Let me stop you there. I'm one of those criticising him for being offside in that goal.
Of course, it's criticised because
if you were a winger, right, and you play, remember, it's not us.
Yeah.
These men play every week. They train every day. You look along the line and keep yourself on side. The minute he got that ball, watch the defender. He goes like that, puts his hand up.
Yeah.
So it's not even like the person defending him thought it's marginal. He straight away was like, yeah,
it was marginal. It was marginal.
It was marginal, but he was obviously off. He weren't like,
obviously.
He weren't like, they didn't have to draw the lines 10 times. That was obviously off, right? He should have stayed on side for that goal. That's part of the fundamentals of playing as a winger. Keep yourself, especially later on in the game, keep yourself on side. I do think he deserves criticism for being offside for that goal.
But the irony of that is, if he hadn't put such a good ball in, people wouldn't have criticised him so much for being offside.
He done. You could put the greatest ball in history. Yeah. What does it come to?
Unfortunately, nothing that
Because of what?
Because he was offside. But then he still put in a good ball, and he did look.
It don't matter. You know what I mean?
We looked more dangerous with him in the team, as Lee said.
It don't matter. I wish he hadn't put in. Then I would have been celebrating, jumping up and down, only to find out that he was offside.
It was a good 30 seconds. I enjoyed that.
I would have rather not have had it. Right? You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying on that.
I
But I will say
that moment.
in his defence, you know what I mean? If it weren't VAR, it was a goal. And like Paul Merson was saying the other day, like it's like schoolboy stuff and all that.
It is.
Yeah, but there was times when he'd probably been offside, but there weren't VAR and everything like that.
The reaction to it, in my opinion, comes more from the 8 times he should have done better before that.
Yeah, that's that.
Or the 18 months he's been.
I agree.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm not going to criticise him for that moment.
If Saka was offside, people have been unfortunate, because Saka does that week in, week out more time. Yeah. Martinelli's been poor for a long time now.
Yeah, I agree.
In the game he came on, he got into good positions, he was poor, the final ball wasn't good enough. So when that offside came and it was that moment and it felt like our moment, someone's going to receive the brunt of the criticism, and it happened to be the guy that, was unfortunately a tad offside, but for months has been letting us down.
I will say this on a couple of things. I don't think the situation of playing one week, one game, like with him and Trossard, is helping both of them out. I think that Trossard has got a bit greedy because he's trying to make an impression and all that. And where I will draw the line on Martinelli being given all the stick and all that, Thomas Partey's just got away with it.
Yeah, he missed a sitter as well.
He absolutely misses a sitter from a yard out.
And that's the second one. Because he missed one.
Yeah. So one you can turn around when Man United got away with it. But to miss that chance,
it's poor.
And everybody's on Martinelli because he was a toe offside, I think it's very, very
I think it's because it was a last minute. You know
but it's not his fault that it's the last minute. He
I know you love Martinelli, right? Because but to me, he got.
Go on, Gabby.
Yeah. Go on, Gabby.
Go on, Gabby.
To me, you got to stay on side there. I love Martinelli, but and I do think he's a player that's under a bit of pressure at the moment. You know what I mean? He's not starting tonight. Another player who's under pressure is a player who is starting tonight. Is Jesus. That air ball.
It's just scandalous. Scandalous.
Somebody said to me, was that Storm Dara blowed the ball out? I said, listen, man, it weren't that windy and that windy the game was going on.
Him.
Well, because it slowed it up.
Because it held it up a bit.
I think it wasn't that windy there, was it?
Well,
no, it weren't.
Yeah,
it weren't. I didn't know what.
Nah, man, it was either he was too stiff to make the movement quick enough, or his heart's not in it no more. Either reason. See you later, man.
Big game tonight.
He needs a
big. He needs, innit?
Oh yeah,
he needs a big one.
Now, looking at that team, like if you're going to say to me who do I want to score, Martinelli and Jesus. But if anybody, Jesus needs to get a couple, but he ain't going to. You know what I mean?
Last season, remember was it earlier in the season or last season in the Champions League?
It's unbelievable. He's a talented player. I don't know what's quite.
And Bayern Munich, he came on and he was part of
I don't know what quite.
What's happened to him?
I don't know.
It's just it's just the injury.
Injuries are
It's just
injury
a
and
confidence thing.
Both combined.
Everyone in every walk of life, if you're not doing well, something it's cyclical. It's a downward spiral. You start not believing in yourself, and it's probably the hardest thing to control is your attitude. It's not just football. You can have skill, you can have work rate, but if you don't believe in yourself, then
it is a great fit. Even with the professional footballers, they can suffer from confidence. And I'll tell you where you see it, and it's so obvious, is with someone like Martinelli at Chelsea. He scores the goal in the second half, but if he has that the first half chance after scoring that second, he buries that. But it's because he's a little bit, I'm not quite confident here. Like, I've got to make sure I get it on target. If he'd have scored that was the second chance, he'd have just gone through it, bush.
Yeah, it was like that Havertz goal a few weeks ago. Who was that against? Was that against West Ham? Yeah.
West Ham.
Did you not see Henry's mini interview?
No,
Did you not see it?
No.
The 12-minute BBC thing that came out, and he's talking about Arteta, Saka, and all these things now.
What did he say?
And he talks about the mentality he had, and just putting it on players in the tunnel and just saying things to them.
But
where's that mentality gone now? Why are man on more money now, and they're softer and there's more excuses, and it's like, confidence. He doesn't seem happy at home, so that's why he's not scoring. Now he's also on 250k.
But it doesn't mean you've got to be happy. Money doesn't bring happiness.
Okay, well, go then.
This ain't no like. If you ever look at Martin Keown has said that. I don't know if you mentioned it on the book launch thing, but he did say that Henry, as great as he was and as good as he couldn't believe how good this kid was. And he was like suffering a little bit of confidence when he first came to Arsenal, which is unbelievable. Look at the player he was.
It was the same with Dennis Bergkamp. It was the same with Pires. None of those players hit the ground running.
Yeah,
all right, a couple more super chats here. Nazen says, Robbie, you didn't read my super chat about us having to change our medical team or stop buying injury-prone players like Tommy, Zinni and Calafiori now. Didn't I? I thought I did. Big up to Toomey with a super chat, but no actual comment. And Rizwan Khan says, would you regret it if we sold Martinelli and he started banging in goals in for another club? I personally think the entire left-hand side is a problem. Who would you sign on the left to fix this position? Well, they were after, remember, Nico Williams, and I think you can see why they were so, if we can get that left-hand side cooking like we got the right-hand side, we'd have some team.
Well, that's down to the manager as well, isn't it? Keep going and saying, well, let's go and buy someone. He's got two decent players here and make it work.
Yeah, but also, he looked a lot better when Calafiore was there, playing a bit more regularly.
40 Side says, love Odegaard, but surely if the left-hand side isn't working, why doesn't he go and play on that side to try and change it up? We are stuck to a system. Surely the players on the field need to improvise. I think we're going to win 3-0 tonight. Big up the AFTV team, says Neil Wilkinson.
It's a great point there. Yeah. Why isn't Odegaard going over to the left-hand side and trying to make things work? It's not working on the right-hand side. Go over the left-hand side.
Is it that he trusts putting it over onto the right-hand side? Just because these things just naturally happen in football, isn't it? That every time you put that ball over to Saka, it's going to stick. He ain't really going to lose it. There's going to be more threat from there. Do you just sort of naturally, in your head, play it over that side more?
Maybe. But like when a team's blocking you off and making you go down that way because they've got all the avenues blocked.
And you still do it. It must be instruction.
Yeah. So is there you've got to change it. Like in Pac-Man, they're all around you, aren't they? Sometimes you have to come out and go back. You know what I mean?
Pac-Man.
Remember that? You have to go out.
So if you bring a new game into the
go out. You know what I mean? Like what I'm saying is, it's the thing. You have to go out. Don't keep going down the same way because you will get caught. Come out. I don't think
you're a real computer buff. You are.
No, it was the same in Donkey Kong.
Tanvir says we need to sell 7 players and get rid of MA. Tired of being a nearly team. It's time to win trophies. I thought MA was ruthless. It doesn't look like it. Adil says Martinelli makes too many mistakes and that leads to goals. The example is the Liverpool game. Yeah, he's lost his end product and is limited in dribbling. No title with him in the team. Oh, very harsh there. And this guy, Case Kaysen Ten Light, I can't even pronounce that properly, it's all one word. He says Danny Olmo could be available in January. Didn't they just buy him? Danny Olmo at Barcelona. I doubt he'd be available. Amson says Martinelli needs to be sold as soon as possible. He doesn't have football IQ to be an Arsenal player. We need a striker and a left winger in January. It is being very harsh on Martinelli. He's been having a tough day. Sold as soon as possible, I don't think.
Just keep one of them as backup now, man. Whichever one you decide. Whichever one manages to perform the best from now till the end of the season. The other one you let go, you bring in a starting left winger.
Would you get you're saying get a left winger and a striker in January?
Yeah.
I think they're not appreciating the work rate of, the amount he comes back. Now, if you're going to be coming back all the time and have to defend like that, you can't be in two places at once. So if you're running back and you're defending and covering the area, it kind of is obvious that you're not going to be able to attack it with the same fluidity.
Lee Jacobs says, guys, remember as well that Martinelli effectively lost KT and Xhaka, creating an overlapping on the left-hand side. Dex does it sometimes, but Granit always inverted and covered for him. It needs to be addressed. Is it the balance, guys?
I think it is, because Xhaka hasn't been here for the last 2 years, and his form was dropped tremendously.
Yeah, he hasn't got the same
You know,
relationship.
I found one tweet funny.
Mourinho's,
I don't know if you lot saw it, but there was a tweet last night that I found funny. Did you all see Lookman's goal?
Yeah, what a goal.
Did you see Lookman's goal?
No.
Did you see Lookman's goal? Oh, well, Robbie, you did.
Great goal. Although I think the keeper
the
could
tweet was asking where's the underlapping 8 and where's the what else did you lot say that he needs to unlock?
Attacking fullback.
Yeah, the tweet was where's his attacking fullback and underlapping 8. There was no one there. He's a winger. He stood up the defender. He
just done
cuts
a
in and he
business.
bangs it.
It's a great goal, but
All these excuses about unlocking what we're trying to unlock Martinelli now.
But if
come on, man.
there is an argument for it though, Turkish.
No,
if
there
not
is.
enough creativity has been coming down that side.
Arteta, his management of the attack in terms of personnel options and the ability to change it up has been very poor. Every other position he's done very well in Arteta, but the attack is poor. Our options are poor. It's evident. So trust me, there's a lot on Mikel here, but it's not on Mikel when Martinelli gets the ball. He's one-on-one with the defender and he can do F4 with it 8-9 times a game. That's not Arteta's fault. Go and do a step. Are you Brazilian or what? Do something. He's just too stiff, too basic, too predictable. Saka's come on leaps and bounds the last 2 years. Martinelli hasn't. 18 months now. His best form was with Jesus. Remember that? Since then, he hasn't been the same.
Well, his best form was 2 seasons ago. That's where he produced the best numbers.
time
Because him
ago
and Saka, to me, were pretty even in the numbers that they were producing.
And now look.
Case Nathan Online says they can't find a way to register him for La Liga. Danny, I thought he was. I'm sure he's played. Danny Olmo. Has he not played for it in La Liga at all? Danny Olmo.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I know they've had a lot of
he has
problems.
played,
Listen,
man.
I'll take your word for it, mate. Terror to the
I've seen him score for
Kingdom
them.
of Darkness says, why does Arteta hate Tierney? And Brito says, I don't like Partey at right back. Lots of off-running back and forth or trying to pace up a winger. This may cause injury. Well, we've got no choice tonight because Timber is on the bench. Obviously, he's trying to juggle the squad, and that's why he's there. Can we get some predictions for the game tonight?
2-0.
Yeah,
Two set pieces?
listen.
Hopefully a
this
nicely
set piece thing-
constructed goal, but yeah, I'd take a set piece or two. I don't mind.
This set piece thing is starting to, get on my goat a little bit. I watched the games over the weekend. I see West Ham on Monday break them down from a corner. Man United, by the way, won the Champions League with 2 corners.
Yeah.
But it's the most glorious night they've ever had. You know what I mean? Like in Barcelona, I don't get that, but we do it, and it's not right.
Yeah, but the stat is we've still created the second most chances in this calendar year than any other Premiership team. So we can't be doing that bad.
What about the XG that we're 18th in or whatever I'm seeing now for this season?
But we're still scoring goals. It doesn't matter.
It does
whether
matter.
it's a goal. To me, it doesn't matter. As long as we
It
score
mattered
goals.
against Bournemouth, right? It mattered against Brighton, right? It mattered against Fulham, right? What do you mean it doesn't matter?
And because we're still scoring.
Did we
We're scoring.
Come on, brother. We just saw us draw to Fulham. What open play chances did we create against Fulham, really? Or against Bournemouth when we went down to 10 men? Or Brighton? The approach
But
this
when we
season
went
has been way
down
too
10 men.
defensive. Come on, it doesn't...
Yeah, what
So
you're
10 men
saying
means
is
throw
that
it then. 10 men means, all right, you're not going to win this game, that's it.
No, it doesn't. And you lose less than 10%. I think it's like 9.13% you lose when you go down 10 men. That is no excuse. But the difference in the performance when those players did get sent off was abysmal. I agree with that.
And Arteta's
but there was
partly
still
responsible for that.
defining
Well,
moments
I don't
which was
think you
sending
should
off.
go on all these stats stuff about goals now, because like we scored 6 against West Ham, 6 against Sheffield United, 5 against so-and-so.
Well, we had 11 men on the pitch for
but
both
what I'm
those
saying
games.
is that those games, you know what I mean, like I'd rather win that 3-1 and score 2 against Fulham.
But that's
It's
not how
it's just
football
that-
works.
Of course it isn't, and that's why. So it's not. It's when you turn around and say, "Oh, we've got the best, second best thing," it don't mean nothing, does it? What it means is that, you know, what it means is every game's different, and you come up against a team like Fulham, you don't create chances. It's there in black and white. It's not good enough. And they've got to change that, like, you know.
Okay, Kevin Kelly says Salah never gets help from the left back like Saka and Martinelli. FIFA Boy says in early 2022-23 we were fast and cohesive, scoring all sorts of goals. We're predictable now. That's why
Can't argue that, can you?
we're crossing long ball. I think there is what somebody said earlier, the whole injury thing when you're chopping and changing and all that.
I get that.
That does affect the that cohesiveness of a team when every minute it's a different back line.
But
it's
as Turkish said,
different midfield. I mean, like we said,
All the forwards are still
It looks
there.
way better with Partey in there, but he's playing in at right back. So there is.
who's you gone with? Sorry, so it's
Partey at right back.
Rice is playing the whole.
it's
Rice is playing
Rice and Marino.
So he's left out. Jorginho then.
Yeah,
He's
Marino.
got Trossard starting. Got Trossard, hasn't he, starting?
No, Martinelli.
No,
And Martinelli and Jesus up front.
Yeah. Yared says, don't understand why Arteta put Tierney on the bench if he's not going to give him a chance. Well, we might see him get on tonight. And Case in to the line says they have to get him registered for January. So that's why
that true,
with Danny
then?
Olmo.
So he's not been playing.
He's not really a left side. He's not a left winger though,
No,
is
he's
he? Danny
sort of
Olmo.
he's
He's
sort
sort
of
of like
an
a number
Odegaard
10.
sort of
Yeah,
player, yeah.
like so. I'm not sure if he'd be the answer. Let's get predictions. Let me get your prediction. You said 2-0 already, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say 2-0 because they haven't got both their talk about injuries. I mean, both their centre halves are out and their captain. So I would say we'll win this 2-0.
2-0. I've said 2-0.
All right, let me go.
Wouldn't be surprised if it's 0-0.
Oh, they only registered him for half a season, so it runs out in January, so they might struggle.
Barcelona's a joke, isn't it?
And why can you do that?
3-1. Let me go 3. Let me go something different. I mean, we have been conceding goals recently, and looking at that back line, I am a little worried. You know what I mean? I don't know where you lot are getting all this clean sheet. I mean, I hope you guys are right, but Lewis Skelly, Partey, Kivior,
Yeah.
that's a
That's the same sort of back
mean,
four we had out against Liverpool, wasn't it?
yeah, we conceded 2.
Yeah, I think you've convinced me
To change that?
Yeah, change that because
2-2.
I'd say 3-2 because you're right. But also Monaco are pretty good going forward. I think they've scored something like 12 goals, 10 different scorers, so they're going to score.
Adil says, watch Martinelli tonight, 1-on-1. He's very limited. Martinelli needs a big game. Let me just say some of the guys that need a big game tonight. Martinelli, Jesus. Those two in particular.
Marino.
But I'd say less so than those two.
Yeah.
Those
Different
two,
reasons,
the strikers really that are under pressure right now, innit?
Yeah,
When you really look at it.
Yeah,
Because they've been
I
there for
agree. I
years,
think
yeah.
Jesus and Martinelli are under pressure.
Big game needed by those two.
I think Marino and Kivior are as well, but not as much.
Yeah, not in a different sort of way.
We might see Sterling tonight, maybe.
We'll see how it goes on the pitch. Might need to.
He's a very rare. He's as a dodo,
When was
this
the last
guy.
time we saw him against Preston?
Yeah.
We've seen him since then.
I don't think we have.
No. Brito says.
Ain't started
I thought it was good against Preston. He was all right.
Brito says Arteta needs to learn how to manage players in all aspects. I doubt he can handle world-class players with an attitude. Well,
Odegaard's-
I think he's been a bit over the top
Who's
there.
got an attitude, world class?
Yeah. Well, they haven't got, but he is world class, Odegaard.
But I don't think any player's got an attitude.
And you don't want players in your team that got attitude. He's handled players with
The
attitude.
only
He's got
one
rid
I
of
think
them.
has got a slight attitude is Trossard, and I think that's been because he's been not treated right. I don't know if that's a fair way to say it. I don't think he's been.
Well, he moaned at the start of the season
Yeah,
about not starting, and he's been starting, and he hasn't exactly been banging them in. So I don't think he can afford to.
I thought, I thought he played for himself on Sunday. I really did. Not in the night like he's trying to prove himself. Like that I'm the. I don't know. I just don't know what's going on there.
All right, let me give you the starting 11s. The Monaco one is Machikeki in goal, Vanderson, Salisu, Kera, Enrique, Kamara, Magasa, Alkilorchi, Ben Saguer, Kolovin, and Mbolo. That's the starting lineup for Monaco. Probably butchered a load of those names. I apologise. The Arsenal lineup: David Raya in goal, Thomas Partey at right back, Saliba and Kivior, your two centre backs, Lewis Skelly in from the start at left back, a midfield of Declan Rice Holding, Marino and Martin Odegaard, and up front on the right wing, Saka, Martinelli on the left wing, with Jesus through the middle starting today. The substitutes are Neto, Setford, Timber, Tierney, Robinson, Heaven, Monalus, Jorginho, Wanieri, Trossard, Sterling, and Kai Havertz. That is a team that will face Monaco tonight. Currently, as we look at the tables after the games last night, Arsenal sit in 12th place on 10 points. Monaco in 13th place on 10 points, both on exactly the same amount of points, got identical records in this season's Champions League. Can Arsenal get that victory tonight, which would then get them back into the top 8 if they get the goal difference as well, and score a couple of goals. Big game for Arsenal. Chance for them to get a load of disillusioned fans back on track with a big win tonight. And you've seen all of us have gone with an Arsenal win. Coming up, we've got the watch along. Turkish, you're going to be on that. Yep. Turkish has promised me he's going to be in a good mood. He's going to be happy. He's going to be cheering. He's going to be jumping up and down. This is it. Goals are going to be flying in, yeah?
If goals fly in, then I'll be flying as well.
Right, so make sure you check out the watch along coming up about 1:45. And of course, we're going to be at the game. And hopefully we're talking about a big Arsenal win at the end, and we'll be speaking to fans afterwards as well and getting their view on how it's gone. Thanks for watching. Thanks, guys. Turkish, Lee, Julian. Thanks to you guys out there. And we'll see you back very, very soon.